As much as I'm interested in making good-looking objects, I'm really interested in making relationships. And I love when I can make a relationship like beyond borders, say an art world person with a nun. It breaks down that like art as this high thing. I feel like art is for all of us. Not all art is for everybody, and not everyone is an artist, but I'd really like to sort of make those barriers a little bit broken and confused even. I grew up outside of Philadelphia in a big Catholic family. We all went to Catholic school, we all went to church on Sundays, and then almost every one of us sort of faded out of Catholicism by high school against my parents' wishes, and sometimes without them knowing. I didn't realize till many, many years later, my Catholic upbringing had so much to do with the kind of art I make. I went to graduate school for social practice, and that's where I learned about Sister Corita Kent. During those years, I was learning more about activist women religious in Central America, and the nuns of my childhood were no longer the predominant narrative about what a woman religious could be. When I came down to do a site visit with John, he said, "So what are you thinking about?" And I said, "Oh, I have about 20 things I'm thinking about, but one of them is nuns." And he said, "Oh, we have this really cool group of nuns here, the Sisters of St. Joseph of Orange." They came to Orange County about 100 years ago. And their activism work really started in the 60s. Vatican II kind of transformed the church and opened it up in a lot of ways. And the sisters decided that they really needed to be committed to being out in the street. So they started protesting for farm workers and protests for immigrants' rights and asylum seekers. Let's drive over there. We literally went and knocked on their door. I said, "This is who I am. I'm an agnostic. I'm an artist. Here's some former projects. I don't know what I want to do with you, but I want to work with you somehow." I gave them some ideas about making a kiosk, about focusing on their social justice work. Next thing you know, they came back with a ton of ideas. They designed the kiosk with me. The kiosk is kind of an anarchist info shop. It's a little shop that sells like zines and posters and where you have meetings. So I wanted it to sort of play on that idea and have it be a place for activism to happen and to learn about activism. So there are all sorts of leaflets you can take away. Then beyond that is a series of furniture that I made to kind of mess with the hierarchical furniture of school days and church days. I made a kneeler that normally you would kneel on and pray to God, and instead you kneel on from both sides and have a conversation with another person. I also did a tete-a-tete, which is two vintage school desks facing each other with a top that's stretched across it. Again, upholstered so you can have a conversation rather than looking at a figurehead like a teacher, you're looking at each other. The sisters wanted to offer Ellen as a mime, which she is amazing to bring people in, and like, who would expect the miming nun? I hadn't really talked to any nuns in a long time. And so like meeting Sister Ellen, they're very just these kind of radical women out there in the world doing their work, and they're not in the role of telling me how to pronounce, to use my grammar.
My name is Sister Ellen O'Leary. I'm a sister of St. Joseph of Orange, California. I entered in 1955, right after high school. In high school, I was very silly. I loved humor. I loved to play, and it really fitted into community in terms of being able to use your talents and your gifts. Everything was really about joining people together, doing beautiful things together. Mime was one of them. I went on this retreat. It's in the Benedictine desert in Valle Yermo, Benedictines. And there was a woman, Carla de Solo, and she was a liturgical dancer. She asked us to go to something in nature and become that, like to become a cactus and then freeze in it. And then she said, make a sculpture, but keep your pose. And it was so beautiful. When I dance as prayer, I have to get my ego out. It was kind of second nature for me. My body was happy doing it.
The sisters, they're just normal people who've devoted their lives to not only God, but also to do good work in the world. And, you know, I'm a little bit cynical about Christianity. I think it's been exploited terribly all over the world for thousands of years. But I feel like my My heart has opened by working with them. I'm still going to be an agnostic probably, but I feel really open to these conversations to happen.